All right, everybody. So today we're going to be talking about vision and why having a vision is absolutely essential to growing your business. Okay. If you're like a lot of entrepreneurs in the home service space, you think, I want to grow my business, right? We all do. We want more income from our business. We want to create more freedom. We want to get more trucks on the road. And so we want that, and that desire is all good, but then it comes into implementation. Well, how do we actually go about making that happen? The biggest building block you first need in place, I believe, in your company is having a vision, right? We've heard it called a vision or a painted picture. You need to have this like end goal that you're working towards, okay? So I'm going to talk about today the 3 reasons why having a vision is absolutely essential to achieving success with your home service space, okay? So we're gonna go ahead, let's just dive right in, okay? Step number 1, why having a vision is essential is we need to begin with the end in mind, okay? I believe Stephen Covey originally said it in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Begin with the end in mind, okay? So we need to first put the goalpost so far back on where we're going with our business, and then the work can begin to work backwards from that, right? You may have heard in our content like, hey, we got to make systems and we got to build a team. Like, we have to do all that stuff. But if we first don't crystallize what the business looks like when it's built, then we're just going to kind of be working in vain, okay? And trust me, there are hundreds of thousands of home service companies that the owner is just going to work every day, working so hard, chopping down that tree with that same dull axe. They've not taken time to actually just put brakes on the whole thing and say, what does this thing look like when it's built, right? And I'll give you an example. Your end goal, your end vision for your business could be a $2 million home service business that has 5 trucks running. And those 5 trucks have 2 technicians on each crew, and each crew produces, $400,000 of work in annual revenue, okay? That could be the rough start of a vision for your business. And then you got to ask, who do we need in the sales department? Who do we need in marketing? Who do we need managing our crews? And how many technicians are we going to need to make that happen, okay? These are all essential parts of crafting a vision for your business. So beginning with that end in mind, what does it look like when it's built out? And that's something we work with our members on in the training. I actually give them access to our vision for Revive, and they can see, okay, this is what it looks like. And then we give them a template where they can make their own. These are all so important facets to growing your business, okay? The second thing we want to work on is attracting and retaining key people, okay? And that is really essential when you're building a business, because your vision for this thing, this empire you're building, it needs to be big enough that all the members on your team can fit their goals, their dreams, their hopes, their aspirations all into your umbrella. So if you just said on the previous example, if I said, hey, my grand vision here is building out a $500,000 business with 3 people on my team, and the owner makes 150 grand, and everyone else, like the most you can ever make is like $40,000, you're going to attract $40,000 a year talent, okay? There's nothing wrong with that talent. It's just you're going to get capped on moving to that next level versus the $2 million company. You could have a handful of 6-figure income earners, right? Maybe your key general manager can be making 150K, 200K a year, right? However you've set it up, that's the beautiful thing of entrepreneurship. But I will tell you, you will have this revolving door in your business if you can't figure out how your vision is big enough and how your strategic plan is going to get you there. Because if you end up recruiting a rock star and they do buy into your vision temporarily, if they see they can't build their empire in yours, they're going to go and find somebody that will. And so you want to be extremely wise at this point in your journey and think bigger with your vision, okay? Think of like in 5 years, in 10 years, what does this thing look like? And then you want to go about assembling your team to take those steps on the weekly basis to get there, okay? And the third reason why having a vision is so important for scaling up a home service business is ultimately you want to build a business that you love, okay? You don't want to go and make this business, too big or you're not in your zone of genius, and you also don't want it too small, right? If you have business skills and you're great at selling and meeting customers and going and meeting property managers, like for you to be out doing the fulfillment every day, you're not going to be in your zone of genius, okay? You want to be able to learn leadership and people skills as you scale your company. And that's what I've learned in my journey in 15 years of growing home service businesses is I've had to sharpen my leadership skills and I've had to sharpen getting better with people so that I can ultimately build a business I love. When I look back 12, 13 years ago, I was working like so hard on the job site painting. We were doing like $200,000 a year. It was chaos. I was making decent money. I compare what I had back then to the business that I have now, and it's like night and day different. And that just comes down to your greatest successes in life, I believe, will come through other people. And you need to have a team of people on your crew, a team of people in your business to actually take this thing to where you really want it. Because the worst thing you want to do is just stay so busy in the day-to-day, running from fire to fire, thing to thing, dealing with person to person, that you're ending up looking up and saying, this is not really the business that I actually wanted in the first place. And it's kind of that adage of like, if you're jumping in a bus and you don't know where that bus is going, well, where are you going to end up? You're probably not going to be happy with the destination, right? We get on an airplane with a very direct path where we're going. It's the same as employees coming in your business. They are boarding your airplane and you're setting course. Where is this thing actually heading? You want to take it in the direction, which is going to be a business ultimately that you're going to love. So it all starts with that first step, like taking some time and planning this out, beginning with the end in mind. What does winning look like? What does a successful company look like? Because that will be different for every single person watching this video or listening to this podcast. You have to define it. What is winning for you? And then you have to put the blinders on to social media because someone's always going to have a bigger business. It's not always about having the biggest business in your state. It's about building it big enough so you can attract and retain key people and that ultimately you can build a business that you love. So that is a short synopsis why having a vision is so essential. I'll give you one red hot tip at the end of this here. Most of your competitors have not done this yet in their business. So this is like a secret ninja hack for you. If you can get busy on building out a vision and starting to pull people into it, you're going to lift your head up in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months and say, man, we are getting some momentum here. Goodness me, am I ever glad that I built out that vision for my companies. Go ahead at the end of this and drop a comment for me in the comment section. Tell me your biggest key takeaway because I would love to hear from you before this video wraps up. And if you're on the podcast, go ahead and share this with a home service business owner that you think this content could benefit. But I appreciate you all. It's Dave Moorman, home service business coach, signing out for another episode and wishing you success as you build your vision so you can build the business of your dreams.